Hey, Set Monkey. Let me know you can hear my audio and the music as well. Tell me everything's working well, or watch me jump off a cliff. It better be working. Yay! Appreciate you being in the first test monkey, Set Monkey. And it should be a fun show tonight. It's going to be, one of our normal kind of quick LMAs, but I love talking about assassins. What a great class. And I think this should be, knock on wood, the end of most of our audio video troubles. I have the new Alienware PC all set up. I had some, chicanery I had to do today to get everything working, but I think now it should be rock solid. As soon as I say that, something will go wrong. The gremlins of tech will go hit me. But hopefully I've got this right. Hey, Rory, good to see you, sir. And Rory, confirm as well. Yeah, you hear you and the music. Knocking on wood all day, Set. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Now, the hilarious thing is, this is just shows like it's not just Blue Box. It is the magic of gremlins in tech. Hey, Roger. Mystical Manda, good to see you. Evelyn is joining us tonight. She said all the number keys stopped working on her keyboard. I said hit numbers lock. If that doesn't work, go to the top row. She said I did. None of her numbers are working, so she's not able to log into Zoom yet. So we'll see. Hopefully she can get that figured out. But whoo, I'm a tech geek. I've had the nickname in my family for years as the technology madman because I just love messing and tweaking with tech. I'm so happy when I'm, just finagling with things and tech, and yet even with all of that, yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, thank you for that, Set Monkey. Let me text her right now. That's a fantastic idea. Why didn't I think of that? Copy and paste the numbers. That's brilliant. Hey, Enoch, Crimson Ale, good to see you. I did pass the gremlins on to her. That's right. No, so Gimbal, so the new PC, the Zoom ID changes every time. So I've got to figure that. I'm gonna create a recurring Zoom meeting, but I don't have that yet. So I gave her separate Zoom credentials today, and she's working on getting those in. But I'm sure she'll get it. It shouldn't be long. Anna B. Meyer, we are joined by royalty tonight. Good to have you with us, Anna. We're talking assassins, and don't think we have seen the last of Rayam. Rayam, of course, is the reverse of Meyer, anagram, I think you call it, and that's a ranger. Of course, it should be a ranger, one familiar with the topography of the Flyness in our Greyhawk Awakening campaign, and you have seen neither the last of Rayam nor of Yaj Tox, which of course is Jay Scott. Both of them will be making appearances here in the next several weeks in Greyhawk Awakening. And we're going to kick off the map animation here in just a second. Okay, all right, so hold on. So she said her problem is she has two-factor authentication. All right, so hold on. Let me send her these numbers manually via text so she can get in. This is so typical of tech. I've got everything going on my side now, and she, who rarely has problems, can't. All right, so ID is, hang on here. Bear with me, players. Thank you so much. right, and I'm going to kick this off here with our pre-rolls. And welcome. Hey, Lord Forth, good to see all of you on tonight. We appreciate it. And of course, we're going to begin tonight with the incredible map of Anna B. Meyer. No worries, Jay. We've got this Alienware PC rocking. Everything is popping. Hey, Steve, good to see you, sir. We should have the Manta Games Terrain Crate stuff any day now. If you don't know, now you know. Hey, 221532, always on. Great follower, thank you. Pat66, Maya Morph, welcome, welcome. Should be a fun chat tonight. And this is the map of Greyhawk done by the incredible Anna B. Meyer. It's mostly consistent with Jay Scott's map with his campaign, although there are a couple things missing, which we're going to get fixed. Hey, Hutchback, thanks for helping out and joining the video game stream that was done this week. I know you were a big supporter to Rory, who is Varsavir. No, I'm sorry, Rory. I'm sorry, Thomas of Varsavir Adventure Academy. Nope, I'm too confused. We had Thomas of Heart of Adventure on this week, and you helped him. Thank you for being on that. And yes, this map is just unbelievable. The work that she has done, and it's evolving. Her Patreon, if you haven't, check out Anna B. Anna, if you don't mind, go ahead and pop your Patreon credentials in the chat. I would love for anyone that's not already on to be part of your Patreon. It's so worthwhile. Hey, Penhead. Yeah, you're always in my mind. You're always on my mind. Hey, Fraley. There you go. Hey, click that link. Everybody, click that link. If you're not already, check it out. Anna is incredible. And her maps, it's funny, actually, cartography will be a little adjunct section, sort of a corollary offshoot of our session tonight on Assassins, only because it comes up in one of the Dragon Mags. I was surprised. I love when I'm surprised, and doing my research today, I got blown away by something about cartography that I use, which is in the old Dragon magazines. I had no idea it was that old. So definitely check out her Patreon, and we will be talking just briefly about map making. All right, let's talk about two of our oldest sponsors and our newest sponsors. So we have had, of course, Atris Miniatures. A great sponsor, has been with us from the beginning. A lot of our minis were painted by Atris. He is a master painter. And then our oldest sponsor is Dragon Crafting Guild, and his trays are popping now. So we're going to be giving away more of these. He's doing more than just Dragon Eyes and D20s in his trays, as though a Dragon Eye and D20 wasn't enough. He's now got illuminated trays. He's got special trays with butterflies. He's got beholder trays. And we're going to be showing all of that. He's sending me several new trays. He's been good to my players. He sent many out to the players, and we're going to be giving away in the next few weeks the most amazing dice trays from this incredible artisan.
All right, so.
Hello, Evelyn. Good to have you with us.
It's gonna be a little awkward for a minute. I'm still
no
trying
worries,
to
no
solve the
worries.
issue.
More Nat 20s, Maya Morph. That is right. Man, the Nat 20s have been flowing. Evelyn has had most of them, and she's always using the DCG tray.
Indeed.
Hey, no worries, Penheads. I appreciate you even popping in to say hi. Guaranteed to roll more nat 20s. Not really, but actually kind of really. I think I need to amend that now because it seems like it does. But Penhead, thanks for coming in even just a little bit. And then our newest sponsor, Cozy Gamer. Great dice.
Cozy Gamer?
Yeah.
I like Cozy Gamer. What's wrong with Cozy
Thank you for the host, Jay. We're looking forward to your show tonight. Cozy Gamer. She has beautiful dice.
Nice.
Really does.
I know.
All right, outstanding. And so we are now going to kick off live. I didn't mention Mantic Games. I've got a box coming from them very soon. There was a problem with the initial shipment. But we have new terrain crate stuff coming. And we are just so grateful to all of our sponsors, including Frederica Draws, who I didn't mention. She does a lot of our artwork. But now we've actually got some additional artwork coming from Mark Views. And Mark is one of our consistent viewers. And Mark is creating artwork for Squeaks. And if you haven't watched GHA, Greyhawk Awakening, you may not know who Squeaks is, but you will know who Squeaks is. He is going to rival Winston for popularity, and I'm kicking over. So Evelyn, you're a little to the canted to one side. There you go.
I'm working with.
No worries, I know. All right, so you are live, and welcome to Loremaster's Arcanum. I can't believe this is episode 22.
I know, right?
it goes so fast. Frankly, Jay, I'm no longer so blown away by your 100s. I think I'll get there pretty quick. I'm just kidding. It is fantastic, and we're going to be talking about assassins tonight.
Yeah.
Assassins. So, if the paladin is the most glorious class, the assassin is the most nefarious class. And man, I don't know. I think those two polars, assassin and paladin, although clearly anti-paladin is the most polar, but the sort of core classes, paladin and assassin, I don't think there are two classes that have made more changes through the years of the different editions than those two. Because if you go back to 1E, thank you, Machik, Terry, good to see you. It's given to Evelyn. Evelyn, you got two sons. I don't know if I should allow that. Should I allow that?
Yes.
Sharing, giving advantages, I guess Jay does too, so I guess it's fair. But I think if you go back to First edition, and we're gonna look at first edition tonight. I've got the player's handbook up. I've got the DM's guide, but we're gonna talk about fifth edition. We're gonna talk about 3.5, and I just think this is a rich class to explore. And I want to thank Evelyn. She actually helped recommend this topic tonight, and she did some pre-work. I was upset because I have so many of the Dragon Mags. I have neither 64 nor 220 in my arsenal over here. So I've got the PDFs up. I have 62, but I don't have 64 or 63 or 65. So I missed it. But it is a great class, and it's a class that can be tough for a DM to handle. Now, before I jump into that, or talk about upcoming sessions, we've got the charity stream in February. We've got GaryCon coming up in March. So many things, and big shout out to Lord Gazumba, who helps us with all of this. But Evelyn, you are clearly struggling tonight. You're in a new room. You've got a green screen behind you, but there's no happening. So
yeah,
why don't you kind of open up to us? Because tonight it's not me struggling, and I'm glad to know somebody else struggles. Because I think I'm a good guy with tech, but every once in a while it just kicks my butt, and it kicked my butt yesterday for sure.
Yep. But yeah, my lovely keyboard just decided to poop out on me right before we were about to start. Nothing works. So.
All right. And so, by the way, like to me, I can hear you, but you sounded so hollow and distant.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to know. Okay, El Hawk, thank you. Is everyone hearing Evelyn well?
I'm getting rebooted right now. Let me see if I can get into actual Zoom on my computer here. I'm just waiting for Discord to boot up, but I think I got everything fixed.
All right. Does she sound more echoey and distant than I do? Because to me, she does. No, they all say, all right, so let's not worry
Why
about it.
am I
That's got to be some
looking
issue on my end. So let's rock and roll. Don't sweat it. All right. Assassins. I've got 2 Dragon Mag articles. I've got the Player's Handbook, Edition 1, Player's DM's Guide, First Edition. I've also got some stuff from 5th Edition, and I want to open it up to questions from the viewers as well, because this is a very controversial class. And I'm going to tell you, I'll give you sort of the, I'll put the sort of the last sentence out there first. I'm going to give you the spoiler. I love the original Assassin. And if I have a PC that wants to play an Assassin in one of my campaigns, even though my base is 3.5, and if you've watched any Blue Box, you know that we use from 5e rules, but it will be a 1e Assassin. There was such an effort, and I understand it, to balance the play, so that you don't want to have one class more powerful than the other or overweight it, but I think DMs can do that balancing in other ways than the basic rule sets of the class. And so that's going to be a major topic for us tonight, and we want to take lots of questions, and hopefully Evelyn's not too distracted by her failing tech tonight. I can't point fingers after I had a complete pantomime stream last night mine, but these are really, really cool cats, these assassins. All right, so
Hey,
so by permission,
good news, everyone.
even on the there were racial restrictions, which I favor in 1E, and they were nerfed, and they were steadily nerfed. So sometimes assassins were core class, sometimes they were subclass, sometimes they were prestige classes. And that all made a difference, and I want to talk about that tonight. But the main thing they can be is a pain in the butt for a DM to handle. And know what you should do with that assassin. Is it the anti-hero?
Right.
Is it the trickster in the campaign? I've done that a couple of times in campaigns. That's a lot of fun. You got the PC, kind of like Ixen was in our Rune Lords campaign, who is really a bad guy, but nobody knows it until much later in the campaign. That's a cool way to play an assassin. But assassins guilds and all that kind of stuff. So before we get started on that, I want to look at the chat and then see what questions are being asked. I'm going to make some notes here because I want to really be interactive with the chat tonight and make sure we cover your questions or your comments and thoughts. So while I'm doing that, let's see here. So nicely silent last night. It was not silent night, yes, I know. Yes, permission. I think, to me, assassins and paladins, coming back to those polar opposites, that should be something that has to be approved by the DM.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I would agree completely.
Yeah, because I don't like poorly run paladins. Don't tell me you want to be a paladin, and then you don't know how to adhere to a strict code of ethics. And,
I'm connected.
You're
on my
entering the
computer.
waiting room again. What am I doing? So am I admitting you another time?
Yes, I'm going to disconnect from here.
We're probably going to have this all messed up now. Now you got to kill that one.
Yeah, 1 second.
No worries, no worries. And pop back in. Ta-da! Yeah, what are you watching? All right. So paladins, cavaliers even. Like, I think you want to play a fighter, anybody can play a fighter. You want to play a thief, fine, play a thief. A cleric, a mage, that gets a little touchy. Want to make sure you've got a player that's mature enough to understand how to memorize spells and run the different memorizations and run with components, however you're running those in your campaigns, the somatic and the verbal, all that. But those two classes especially, paladins and assassins, and of course we're focusing on assassins tonight, I think they require a different level of A, player maturity, and B, DM prep to make sure it fits in the context of the campaign.
Right.
No, Steve, that's right. In fact, that's in one of our Dragon Mag articles tonight. The Scarlet Brotherhood Assassin as a PC, that's in one of these Dragon Mag articles. Let's see, what else? Have I missed any other questions? Pathfinder. So, Elhawk, that's mainly what I run. Pathfinder is 3.5 with augmented classes and additional content. but the basic rule set is 3.5. And I like that for most classes. Again, and I'm sorry if I'm being somewhat repetitive, there are two classes that I really don't like how they're handled, Paladins and Assassins. I like having those, in a sense, quote unquote, overpowered. I don't need them balanced because they have their own balance if they're played properly by a DM. Okay, so let me be specific. A Paladin may have, in a 1E, 2E rule set, much stronger healing and power and resistance to evil and disease and all of these other items, but he also has deep restrictions on how he role plays. And so those themselves can become the counterbalance. The same thing can be true with Assassins. Assassins might have in a 1E set, and man, you're going to see, if you don't know, like Elhawk or anybody that's never played, Rory, you've never played 1E, the 1E Assassin is nasty, wicked, can kill something in one shot, which I love because it makes sense. But there's a counterbalance that a DM can put in the campaign, because if you're an assassin, if you're discovered, if you're found out, there's a huge consequence to that. You are vilified, you are hunted, so there can be a give and take to these classes that is done through role play rather than nerfing them. Right. Which is, I complain a lot about 5e nerfing, but even 3.5, there was some nerfing that happened. You go back to the older systems, which I don't run, but I see the benefit and I use them occasionally. So I'm going to stop there. Evelyn, what are your thoughts on this before we get to questions?
All right, so I'm going to mentally have to catch up for a moment because
you're still very quiet in mine, but if everyone else hears you fine, don't
Well,
sweat.
I also rebooted my computer, so let me make sure
it's probably just on my end, so I can hear you. Okay. Let's just roll with it.
Yeah, so what I think is like the Assassins are, it's like, especially from the articles we were looking at, all the various things that kind of help make them functional, and most of the recommendation from what I read, at least in Dragon 64, was they kind of were intended more as a NPC character rather than a PC initially, at least, because of it being such a tricky thing to fit in with a party, especially a party that has like paladins or other lawful good types of characters, because they wouldn't really sort of tolerate that type of character being within the party, and there not being some really serious major conflicts within the structure of the player group. So yes, so I thought that was really interesting as like how it was initially kind of looked at, but there's also different types of assassins, and how one of those might fit in. And you mentioned the anti-hero already, but it also mentions like the political assassin and the Assassin's Guild assassin and those sorts of things as well. So
yeah, and so we're going to talk about that in one of the articles, so that's great. So let me back up a second, and it's the combat outside of the combat system. Well, no, that's true, Anna, but if you think about it, if I sneak into your bedroom at night and I come through the window and you're sound asleep, and I walk up to you with a dagger, and I catch you by surprise, why should I be running in the combat system? I could plunge a dagger into your carotid artery, punch it through your esophagus, sever your spine, and there should be no combat system. And that is part of the danger of an assassin. Now, in 1E, they have a nice balance to how that's done based on levels, and we'll talk about that in a second. But this is what I don't like about 5E. 5E, all an assassin gets, if they make their assassination attack on the first one and the first attack, and the opponent has not gone yet, they get an automatic crit. Well, if that automatic crit is on the ever mysterious Tim tables, then that might be worthwhile. But in 5E, automatic crit is basically 2x, 3x damage, right? So if I'm attacking a significant creature, even though I caught them in their sleep and plunge my stiletto, through their temple, I just do 2x, 3x damage. That doesn't, to me, feel real. Now, that's probably the most controversial part of assassins, because they can be OP, overpowered, if you run them that way, but I think it makes sense. So I'm going to stop there, let you respond, and we got a lot of comments in the chat.
I mean, like with like you said, that functioning outside of the combat system. I mean, that's what they do. I mean, they're assassins. They're meant to be stealthy, sneaky, and do the damage. Kind of in more of a what's the word I'm looking for? More of a, they're not meant to be the big fighter on the front line type. They are your ever subtle, knife in the shadows type of character. So they need to be there needs to be a good amount of lethality to that character.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And what you can see is Jay's got the bounty hunter class, which is without the auto kill. Anna references the coup de grace, which is something you can use in 3.5. The 1E version of this, and you're going to see it, we're going to show it in a second. If you don't know, it is so potent, but I'm okay with that because depending on how that assassin is being role played, I can give them. They may not survive 3 sessions.
Right.
They're going to have to really play it properly. And I like that. Now, a couple things I wanted to show as I'm going through. This is Dragon Magazine 220. Exactly. The challenge is how to codify the RP restrictions. And that's what I would love to spend time talking about that because you have 3 assassin PCs in game. Most are multi-classed. Every time I think of assassin, before I come back to this Dragon Mag, so you got Assassin's Creed. That's a super popular game.
Right.
Enzo, I think is his name. Enzo.
It's Ezio.
Assassins are somewhat glorified. Thank you, Gronk at KNB. We appreciate that. What are some other examples of assassins in popular movies, pop culture?
I mean, there's a lot depending on the
Hitman?
specific genre. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hitman.
like video games. You got Hitman.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some notes I have here. Outlander, The American. Oh, John Wick. Yeah.
Yeah. John Wick.
So
The
before
ultimate
we get into
assassin.
the Dragon Mags and the classes. Leon, that's right, Leon, the professional, the Scarlet Bria, exactly. Discworld Assassins, that's exact. Hey, Mark Views, I talked about you earlier. We cannot wait to see your Squeaks artwork. Everybody is so excited to see how Squeaks works out. Assassinate per 2E. Assassin has to study a target for at least 3 consecutive. Yes, I believe that. I think that's a great way to do it.
That makes
Surprise the
sense.
victim to make an attack. Saving throw versus death. Yeah, based on levels of save. Okay, that's good. Moose. I see a low-level assassin with little or no experience rolling a 1, failing the assassination, but still causing a lot of damage. Now, if you roll a 1 in my campaign, he's not causing any damage. He's definitely missed and possibly fumbled. So the levels that comes into the DM's guide in edition 1. We're going to look at that in a second. Every sniper movie ever made. Exactly right. There's a place for exactly. That's right, Jay. So like John Wick. If you go back to The Man with the Golden Gun, James Bond. You had Francisco Scaramanga as an assassin. These are wonderful characters to play. In D&D, they can present challenges, and so we're going to talk about that with the time that we have remaining tonight, and we're going to look at these classes. But Christopher Lee. Who is Christopher Lee, Jay? I'm not recognizing that. Well, he's telling. So I always like pointing this out. What are we looking at here in Dragon Magazine?
Yes.
Middle Earth. I would run a MERP campaign on Twitch if I thought anybody would watch it, but I don't think they will.
Saruman, yeah. That's
that was Scaramanga. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Real
and
life
actually,
future.
Christopher Lee.
I don't know if so. Okay, so Middle Earth. I love their stuff. If I get enough of a groundswell, maybe in a couple of years, I will run an old school MERP Loremasters D&D campaign, but it will only be for the hardcore because the stats are ridiculous. All right, so let's go to and I'm going in reverse order here for a reason.
Okay.
So here's Dragon Magazine 220.
Okay, let me pull that one up.
And I've got it here on the screen. So you see it's an assassin. He's got a crossbow. And this is the more modern understanding. So this is the John Wilkes Booth. You know, this is the sniper with a rifle, except here it's a crossbow. And he's aiming. Let me blow this up so it's easier to see on the stream. You know, he's aiming at presumably a king or a member of royalty. Oh yeah, Jason Bourne, exactly.
Yes.
But then it goes on to a knife between the shoulder blades. Great article by Ed Stark. Again, this is Dragon Magazine 220. You can get all of these for free in the Anon Archive. Unfortunately, I did not have the hard copy of this, so we're just looking at the PDF. But just a couple points I want to highlight. And then Evelyn, I know you found these initially because you did them, so I want you to be able to speak to these as well. But a couple things.
Yeah.
So as a result of the fact that assassins are contemplative murderers, you know, if you look at the TUI example that was mentioned earlier, you know, they have to take time, they have to study the victim, they have to know where they're going. I like those sort of restrictions that still allow the class to be lethal, but make it
But
balanced.
without being completely overpowered.
Exactly, yep. And the assassin is contemplative murder. He plans, he acts for one purpose, to eliminate his target to kill. Now, as a result, many role-play games shy away from the assassin as a player character. I don't, but I know why people do.
Right.
Before I move on, Evelyn, anything you want to say there? Or?
No, that totally makes sense. I mean, it would be, especially for like any very newly DMing, like getting into a player character, playing that particular class would be a challenge, just because keeping the balance there. So you know, that's the important thing, is kind of keeping the, you know, being able to allow the player to play the character that they're wanting to play, but keeping it well balanced so they don't become the the OP, just running off, killing everybody person.
Exactly. Well said. Hey, Lord, for I love the church lady. All right. And so I like this quote here, and that brings us to what an assassin is. It's a murderer. Could be a killer for hire, or political intrigue, or a mercenary who's moved up and down in the world, whether it has gold, favors, political strength, or something else entirely. He's reduced murder to its simplest level and elevated to an art, the art of the assassin. Now, assassins don't have to be evil.
Nope.
And this has been pretty consistent through most editions. If we got any 5e folks, I'm not really sure how 5e does this, but the one thing an assassin can't be is good.
Right.
You know, so they can be neutral, they can be evil, they can even be lawful. Now, how could an assassin be lawful?
Well, I mean, they have their specific set of rules that they follow, perhaps, or especially if they're part of the Assassin's Guild, and which has its own set of rules that they would possibly follow. So that's a good example of how an assassin could be lawful.
Exactly. Or think about, like, I even go a step further. Think about this. What if you have a politically ordained sort of part of the regency?
Right.
They have an assassin who works for the king and does the king. So
takes out his opponents and things.
Exactly. Yeah. So an assassin can definitely be lawful, and they can be neutral or evil. They don't have to be evil. But they can't be good, because they're technically taking life as a profession, and so that's really tough to stretch toward good. And I like that alignment restriction.
Yeah.
Yeah, no lawful good assassins. Yeah, I wouldn't have called James Bond lawful good, or even neutral good. I think in most cases he's lawful neutral. If I had to look at how James Bond acts, that's probably a whole other discussion. Yeah, Van
I mean,
Helsing.
he does things that are...
Okay, that's a good point, Fraley. So assassinating monsters is not the same thing. All right, so they give in 220, and these are fun. We're not gonna you know, really dote on these or spend too much time. But you have the lone wolf, sort of the archetype. You know, someone who's out to maybe handle traumas of his past or her past, fighting with ghosts of what they suffered. And that's a sort of whole other type of class. And you have Vlad Taltos here in 220, which is cool. This is actually a reference to Let me find it here. It is. It's referenced down here. Vlad, where's Vlad? Antihero. Oh yeah, Stephen Brust's. So Stephen Brust, Vlad Taltos series about a human assassin in a fantasy world dominated by elves. Yeah, exactly. So that's a good example of the lone wolf assassin. And these are great archetypes to read through. So if you have a player who wants to play an assassin, you point them to Dragon Magazine 220. You're going to get more content that you're going to get than you're going to get from any of the actual editions themselves. That's what's so great about all these old Dragon magazines. They go deeper, and as I've said before,
Right.
you can't get in 4 books or 8 source books all the content from dozens and dozens and dozens of Dragon magazines where people really thought about this, and you can update them to your edition. So I'm not saying
Right.
like you want to play 5e, fine, play 5e or 4e. You get your head checked, but play 4e, and then you can take these Dragon magazines and you can adapt them. Just use the concepts. Then you've got the anti-hero. Yeah, exactly. The anti-hero, this is where PC, so what you like about this, he's someone most PCs and game masters will empathize with, so you can bring them into the campaign. This might be the one that betrays the party. Where PCs try to work with the system or confront the foes, the anti-hero employs more surreptitious means to get his own way, and that can put him at odds with the party. So you've got your maybe neutral to good aligned players, or lawful players, and they see an assassin doing something as an anti-hero, that can create great role play opportunities. Also, it says the best method to appeal to the player's self-interest is maybe the anti-hero could solve one problem by killing his target, but opens up 10 other problems, right? So it can create. So Evelyn, go ahead. What are your thoughts? Because I know you.
Yeah, no, I thought
too.
that was a really cool thing to look at as another way of balancing that the assassin is to actually have whatever their target is be kind of the catalyst for a whole other set of messy issues. Like you take out some head of state or something, and then suddenly you realize he was the only one keeping everything like in like functioning as it should be, and now all of these like really terrible people are coming into like control and everything's falling apart, and it's created all this chaos for everybody to have to solve that problem now.
Exactly. So it's a way that maybe he doesn't get betrayed and arrested and put in the stocks, but maybe he creates 10 other problems for the party and himself. So this goes back to my original point. There are ways you can, as a DM, balance this character out with consequences without necessarily nerfing the class.
Right.
So I think that's very cool.
A good double cross.
Yes, Dragon 53 version off the original PHP. Yeah, we're going to look at that in a second here. Hey, thanks, Jay. We'll be rating you soon, but appreciate you popping on with us. Mark Views, exactly. They are making more business for themselves or more problems for themselves. Let me run through this quickly here for sake of time. You've got the Guild Assassin. And this is really delved into in the older Dragon Mag we're going to look at in a second. But the Guild Assassin is a very common way to do this. So the Guild then, as Evelyn said, can create a lawful sort of structure. They might be a political assassin, or here, to create an adventure associated with a Guild Assassin, the Dungeon Master should set up a scenario, organize NPCs, construct a plot, take advantage of the unpredictability of PCs. If they don't telegraph their moves, it could be like a chessboard. The PCs move and the Guild Assassin moves, and only the end game solves the encounter. You've got Assassin's Knot, which is a great module. Leonard Lakofka, the recently passed but always revered Leonard Lakofka, who is a lifetime contributor to this game. He wrote Assassin's Knot. There's great stuff about assassins in there. You've got the political assassin, and that goes more to what I was talking about, working for a regent or a judge, or maybe they're a martyr for their cause. There are several examples that are given here. So just avail yourself of these materials. I think there are some 5e sort of Dragon Mag-esque things, but again, remember, that stuff it's limited because it's new. I'm not saying it's bad, but you have decades of content that you can pull from here. And as a game master, don't say, Oh, I play 5e. Great, I love 5e. 5e's awesome. I'm not down. I've got 5e books here. I've talked about this. You play 5e, wonderful. But don't eschew looking at these old Dragon magazines just because they're 1e, 2e, because you can take this content and adapt it, and there's so much rich material here. All right, I'll get off that soapbox. Hey, long shot. Ancient Gamer, thank you so much for the gift sub. Patrick, you have been increasingly incredible. We are so appreciative. All right, so Evelyn, before I move on, any comments on that?
No, nothing to add on that particular topic. Nope.
Okay. Hello, Difamist. And then you got playing it to the hilt. I love this sort of summary. When using assassins, or of whatever type, whatever their different sort of subclasses are, or sort of subgenres which are introduced here, play them as characters with goals and plans and personalities. Too often, the assassin as a catalyst or assassin as a villain degenerates into cookie cutter in the dead of night, meant only to spur an adventure. And that's a very limited way to use assassins. It's acceptable, but it devalues the devastating effect of a true assassin. Rather than a thug or gun for hire, you can have something much more nuanced in your game with the assassin. Like unnatural disasters, they can be waiting to complete change of lives all around them. Deadly foes, questionable friends, they're more than just a knife in the dark. Okay, so before we jump into, we're going to come back to old Dragon Mag, older than 220, 64.
64?
Yeah, and then but we're going to look at the Player's Handbook of 1E, which to me, it is a great class to choose for. And by the way, this is the main thing I want to tell. Like, okay, you play 5e, or you play 3.5. You're the DM. If you like this, you can introduce this character class and structure into your 5e campaign or your 3.5 campaign. Don't feel like, now just make sure your players know and you communicated it, right? You don't want to just like kind of blindside them with something. But you can use these old systems and spice up and personalize your campaign. That's, I mean, to me, that's always been the fun of the game. I like looking at the additions, I use those as a baseline, but ultimately I create my game and my rules and my campaigns and what I like, and I think I can make something that's more fun by mixing and matching with the different additions. I'll shut up there. Any comments on that, Evelyn?
Well, I was just going to say, you know, as long as you understand the tools that you have at hand for whatever edition of D&D you play, it's fairly easy to modify your whatever you're using to fit into that system. I mean, I've been with the world building I've been doing some modifications to fit in multiple systems of D&D as well, so that what I'm working on can be used in multiple editions of D&D. So, you know, as long as you understand how everything functions, you can tailor it however you need. And, you know, it's always kind of sad, I think, to miss out on something that could be really fun and cool to play with, just for the sake of feeling like it's stuck in a specific box in a specific setting, you know?
Exactly. No, that's well said, Evelyn. That's well said. And no, you're right, Patrick. Exactly. And classic cover, yes. So Elhawk, yes, you can fudge. And coming to 22, DM 221532, I got to figure out what to call you. That's too much. Like, let's call you DM. DM 22. You know, I love blindsiding players, but I'm going to blindside them with plot. I'm going to blindside them with monsters. They think they know what this shambling zombie is going to do. No, that might be a custom monster. They have no idea what that is. But with the basic classes, I'm saying I try to give them some guidance so that they feel like things are clear to them. But yeah, I mean, as a DM, if you want to blindside away. All right, so let's look at the 1E Assassin, because this is so freaking cool. For any of you that have not played 1E Assassins, yeah, they're a subclass of thieves in this version. So they're not a prestige class and they're not a primary class. They're a subclass of thieves. So they get a D6 for hit points, which was how thieves worked in 1E. So mages got a D4. You know, a first level mage was the most vulnerable thing on the planet. But then your thieves and assassins, they were D6. The primary function, looking here at the highlight, was killing. They can use poison, ingested, implemented with a weapon. There's great rules on poisoning in these old guides. Both the PHB, the Player's Handbook, and the DM's Guide, they were really a complement to one another, because many things which were conceptually defined in the Player's Handbook were then explicitly outlaid in charts and whatnot in the DM's Guide. But look at this over here. Assassins attack on the same combat table as thieves, right? Including backstabbing. So that's what you would call a sneak attack in your newer systems, right? Backstab, sneak attack, same idea. But if they surprise, and surprise rules were like a 1 on a 1d6 in the old systems. If you were an elf, you could surprise on a 2, a 1 or a 2 on a d6. But it was a good chance that you could surprise someone. It gives a roughly 50% chance, look at this here, of immediately killing the victim.
Wow.
This is where it varies so much from the newer systems, which are understandably trying to be more balanced. But I think this is cool. If you think about how a DM can balance this, as I said, with consequences, with things, unintended things that occur, with exposure, there are so many ways for you to balance besides removing this deadliness from an assassin. And they have to catch you by surprise.
Right.
Come back to what I said earlier. If Enzo, for lack of, or Born, or who, he sneaks through the window and the victim is asleep, I don't care if you're 10th level.
Yeah. You got the drop on you.
Got the drop. You don't have your armor on? You're sound asleep? He stands over you with a gun or a dagger or a crossbow bolt? Put that crossbow to your eyeball? What, am I rolling to hit? Am I rolling damage?
I don't think you're gonna miss
put a crossbow through your eye. No, you're done, right? I want that realism in my game. And that is not, I know how many of the game systems are designed, and I understand why, but to me, this is what makes D&D different than a CRPG. In a CRPG, I've got 150 hit points. Well, you can't do 150 hit points with one crossbow bolt. You hit me with 4 while I'm asleep, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to kill you. Well, that's not, no, I don't want that. I like this. But there is a balance to it in a second. So I'm going to shut up there because I probably just made a lot of people mad. But Evelyn, what are your thoughts?
No, I mean, like that once again, that is kind of what makes an assassin differ from like a thief as well, or even a rogue character. Their entire job is to be the person to get the kill in the least difficult way for them to do it. They're not about to make trouble for themselves. They want to get in, get out, get paid, or get information, or get whatever that they're trying to achieve from this. But they're not going to face someone toe to toe. They're not going to make the job harder for themselves. So it totally makes sense that wait till their guard is down, completely down, and just take them out.
Exactly. Role-played gang. Hey, I want to come back up. I may have said something which was a little bit unintended. Yes, I would still make them roll. I'm being a little bit hyperbolic. Like if I walk up to you with a dagger to your temporal, I'm still making you roll. You could slip. You could trip on a slipper. They might roll over just at the moment you shoot. So there's still going to be a roll that happens. I'm not suggesting it's an automatic kill. Right. But I love the way they do it in first edition. You're going to see it here in a second. I'm just saying it should be possible to do a one-shot kill. It should be possible to do a one-shot kill in most circumstances if an assassin has caught someone completely subdued, surprised, unaware. There's still there's a roll, but it should be possible.
Right.
Role-play gank, exactly. Realism in its place, zombie. That's right, Mitch. I think, hey, Moondog, good to see you, sir. Hope you're feeling well. Yeah, you could hesitate. Your crossbow string might bust. You might have a faulty bolt that snaps as it pops. There's a reason that we have fumbles, and there's a reason we have to hit rolls, right?
A fly flies in their mouth and they start choking. And
or it just at that moment they sneeze. Whatever. I'm not saying it's just an auto kill,
right?
But it is a highly likely. So we're going to come back to how that's handled here because I want you to see something. So. if you look again at this, if they surprise the victim, right, they can attack on the assassination table. The assassination table will not be found in the player's handbook.
Right.
You have to go to the DM's guide, and we're going to show you that in a second. And this makes sense how they do this. I like it. But before we do that, look at this also. Disguise. Disguise is such a big part of assassination. They can don disguises to gain opportunity to poison or surprise the victim, or other reasons. The assassin could disguise him or herself as to appear human or semi-human or humanoid, either sex, change gender. They can lower height by 2 or 3 inches or raise it 4 or 5 inches. I like that too. That makes sense. You know, shoes or hunching down or, you know, so good sort of common sense rule structure here for disguise. And they can look slimmer or heavier. Now, I won't go into this, but if you read on here, it talks about the fact that, hey, they don't just have to clear this with the primary victim. If the victim has, or the potential victim has henchmen or friends or guards who should know who this is, then they have to trick all these folks. That's a good way to do that. But the secondary function of the assassin, besides killing, so the primary is killing, the secondary is spying. And there's great rules on spying as well. Okay, so any thoughts on that, Evelyn? Disguise, spying, as opposed to just killing for assassins? I know you read this as well.
Yeah. I mean, that, you know, that all goes into, you know, being the most of Spanx.
I'm sorry, assassins use Spanx.
Corsetry. But yeah, I mean, you know, you have to utilize every tool that you can possibly do to get to your target, and sometimes that's, you know, they have to be able to be reasonably charismatic, or at least convincing enough to, you know, convince that person or everyone around them, oh, I'm a safe person. You would like to get to know me better. And, you know, maybe even being able to disguise themselves as you know, someone less intimidating.
Right.
Or, you know, so that they appear, because I've seen a lot of that in like the movies where the assassin is a woman. She'll make herself appear very, like, you know, delicate and not scary at all, and then she strikes at the, you know, the last moment. So that sort of thing, you know, goes into, I think, what we think of in particular of the assassin is that not only are they, you know, very skilled with whatever weapon that they use, but they're also very good with interacting with other people and being able to conceal their real appearance or their real motives.
Yeah,
to
no,
better
I think that's well said. That's well said, Evelyn. I like that. You got assassins use Spanx. Now we've had Spanx of elven kind. Spanx of holding. I like Spanx of holding. And yeah, and
wear pastels. Nobody expects pastels.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So is a D&D assassin and an IRL politician the same class? All right. So let's look at this table here, and then we're going to wrap this up in a bit. And we got a couple giveaways tonight. I promised we're going to give away a blue box mask. God, I never thought this would be happening. That this is a thing now. This is almost a white flag of surrender for me. But blue box mask, and we're going to give away what to me is one of our coolest things right now. One of our blue box mouse pads. These things are awesome. And so we're going to be doing that here in just a second. In fact, let me go ahead and get the mask giveaway started. Oh, crud, I haven't kicked off Nightbot on this new PC yet. Let me make sure that's working. Yeah, I know. It's like, while I'm doing that,
Well, actually, because I am on my computer instead of in the room, I can kick off Nightbot.
Okay, why don't you do that? Yeah, that'll probably be a lot faster than me opening up Nightbot and logging in. So look at this table here. So this is what happens, and I like this. So what they do is, if you have the hit, so you still make your roll. If your roll's a hit, and you know, again, if you've surprised them, particularly if they're asleep in their bed chamber, although that's not the only place an assassin does his thing, but if you've got the jump on them, and you have a hit, then you have these percentages for instant death, and they decrement as the level goes up. And this, I've talked about this a lot. So this idea that a level 1 assassin could, for example, kill a level 8 character in one shot. if they have this circumstance, surprise, and they hit, and you're completely unaware, and they've snuck up on you, it's a 10% chance, so they have to hit, and then they roll the percentile dice. I think that makes a lot of sense.
All right, so the keyword is going to be !mask.
All right, !mask is your drawing. We're going to do 2 of these. We won't roll them tonight. We'll just give them away. So type !mask to be entered in the mask giveaway. We'll do 2 of these, and then we'll do the mouse pad. By the way, Evelyn, would you mind helping me with this? Could you just jot down the winners? Because I'm always late. I have to go back and watch the streams.
Yeah, I can jot it down.
And you're just so much more organized than I am. All right, so look at this here. The percentage shown is that for success, instant death under near optimum conditions. So a DM can adjust and should adjust, right? So if it's absolute trust, you're the barber, right? They're letting you shave their skin. Absolute trust. They lift their neck. All right, that should be this table. You could adjust it up. They're very drunk. They're unguarded. They're fast asleep. Maybe they're passed out under drugs. Great examples of where you can modify or just stick with these core tables, but also deduct. If the victim is wary or takes precautions or is guarded, or maybe they're a light sleeper, or maybe they're an elf, or maybe you just want to make that NPC harder to kill, and so you can modify that as a DM. If the assassination is being attempted by or on behalf of a player to complete a plan, how the deed is done should be prepared by the player. So we talked about that sort of, and I would use role play. Role play would affect this. How well that PC role plays their assassination attempt. You could take tables like this, and so I'm just, I'm not telling you have to use this, but anybody that wants to play an assassin in one of my campaigns, you will be playing this 1E assassin. You will get a D6, so you're not going to get the D8 that you get in 3.5. You're going to D6 for your die, a hit die, and you'll have some decrements and you'll have some serious roleplay consequences, but you will have this ability to do these cool one-shot kills under the right circumstances. So I'm going to pause there. Yeah, it does. It does take a strong or experienced DM, and I think that's, man, how do I say this without sounding like a jerk? I'm not suggesting like I'm the most experienced DM in the world. I'm probably in the top 5%, but I'm not the most, but it's also like, it's a bit of common sense, and also what the DM wants to do. So you could take a table like this, and you could have it behind your DM screen, and you just kind of do it on the fly. I think DMs shouldn't be scared to make modifications to tables like this. That is part of your game referee. That's part of your judgment.
I was gonna say, and that's the best part about D&D is that you can tinker with it and tweak it as much as you need to make it work for you and the group that you are DMing for. I feel like really, even though everyone kind of has the same base set of rules, you're not going to see a lot of the same things at every table. So make D&D work for best for you.
That's right. No, that's right. And a couple of great comments here. Let me touch on these. So one, Elhawk. If it's an elf and that elf is meditating, whole different game. That's not the same as being asleep.
Right.
And I would say that would be a nigh unto impossible, or at least a very, very difficult thing to surprise a meditating elf in my campaign. That's a great distinction. I like Lexfire's comment. And I also like L-Hawks. I'm pretty darn good, thank you. But I think Lexfire's comment, what cuts one way cuts the other. There are NPC assassins. And don't be having a fit with your DM if your character is asleep and someone sneaks in the room and pulls off a one-shot kill on them. That's good for the goose, good for the gander. The blade cuts both ways. Whatever the sort of anachronism you want to use is, not anachronism, idiom. And whatever idiom you want to use, that's all possible. and I think that makes the game more fun. Yeah, elves don't sleep. That's right. They meditate.
They do.
If you hit them hard enough, they do. If you hit the elf hard enough, they do sleep. I think that's called unconsciousness, Steve. Coma, not sleep. John is basically describing my mom with her Johnson. Oh, the mad chatters are on fire tonight again. Hey, thank you so much, guys. You make this so much fun, guys and gals. You're awesome. But yeah, like these charts. Look at them. Check them out. Look at the Dragon Magazine stuff. I don't care what edition you played. There is content here that you as a DM can modify for your game and make it lots of fun. Before we wrap up tonight, anybody have any other comments or questions?
And I have the mask giveaway ready to go, so you let me know when you want me to roll
Let's
it.
go ahead and do one of those now. So first mask giveaway, running now.
Okay.
And
Rolling
the first
it.
mask winner is...
Mystical Unicorn painting.
Amanda, congratulations! So glad you got that. Well-deserved. A dirt nap long shot. That's exactly right. All right, let's do the second mask. So we're going to do one more type, exclamation point mask. If you're not in there yet, you're going to get one of these blue box masks here. They're really cool. They're also they're pretty good masks too. They're filtered. They're nice. They're well done. So type exclamation point mask if you're not in yet, and we'll do that giveaway for number 2. I promised 3 giveaways tonight because I wasted everybody's time last night.
But we had a great time.
But I think we got this working now, and I'm hoping that there should be no glitching. There should be no video glitches. It's all looked really stable and strong to me. All right, let's do the next one.
All right, rolling now.
And the second winner is the real Dorgrim. I don't know if he's won yet. I think that might be his first win. Dorgrim, are you still here? Yay! Okay.
Congratulations.
All right, so I don't think, if I do have your info, no worries. If I don't, go on our Discord. Evelyn will pop our Discord creds.
Creds right now.
Get in that Discord and DM me, BlueBox, DM BlueBox in the Discord, and we'll make sure we get this out to you. I don't need sizes. Masks all come one size fits all. All right. Then last but not least, the mouse pad. So let's put this up. Let's do the Nightbot tag as exclamation point mouse.
Okay, we can do that. 1 second. Let me switch that.
I didn't get to 66, so 64.
It would be funnier if we made it
let me just show this quickly while we're getting ready for that giveaway. 64 is another good one for you to check out. There's a whole thing on Assassin's Guilds. This is phenomenal.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I love. I wanted to come backwards because the 201 talked about all the types, whereas this one goes deep into the guild. You need to read this. It is so good. It's by Elizabeth Serratelli and Linda Bisson, and it talks about all the different types of assassins in guilds, what motivates them, what are their priorities, what are the dangers. Assassin must be, if anything, more organized. They're not just sort of random wanton killers. They're not barbarians. They are highly focused. Who is seeing lagging?
I know, it was.
Pat, is anyone else seeing lagging besides Pat?
I'm not noticing any on my side.
I mean, I'll be shocked if it is. Roger has it. No Hutchback. Nope. Mark Views. Nope. No lagging. All right, so it might be. Try refreshing. It might be. Oh, thank you, Bill. I didn't even see you were on. Thank you, Bill. I have a potato PC, no lagging. It looks super smooth here on my end. I have not seen a single hitch. So yeah, okay. So maybe refresh if you're having an issue. And what I'll do is I'll also go back and look at the replay on Twitch. That always tells me, was it my side? Was it Twitch? Was it the viewer side? But it looks like most of you are not experiencing lag. That could be regional. Yeah, it could be regional. All right, so assassins identify themselves. Most of them, or at least the highest level ones, will have alter egos. So can anybody think of, now he was an assassin, he was a thief, but what was the original Gygax character that was so good at alter egos and had these identities that he would play? I just reread some of this recently. I'm curious if anybody picks this up before we, so exclamation point mouse for this beautiful mouse. Gord, that's right, Roxafarius. I didn't see you on tonight. Gord the Rogue. Gord was so cool. He played these really cool alter identities, and that's a great sort of model for an assassin. And I just think there's so much rich content here. You also have assassin's requirements. So coming back to the first thing I said in the stream, paladins and assassins, sort of at opposite ends of the spectrums. Paladins have very strict codes. Well, an assassin that's part of a guild has very clear structure. These 4, 5 different things, these are great items for you to introduce into your campaigns.
There's actually 11 of them. There's more on the second page.
Yes.
There are 11 items.
Yes, that's right, exactly.
Yes, it's awesome.
So you got a bunch of them here. And then, what's the first day on the job like? What happens with enforcement and punishment? There is just this mag. Check out Dragon Magazine 64 if you want anything to do with an assassin's guild or a player who wants to run an assassin that's part of a guild. There is deep content here. All right, let's do our the Iceman Nasi, exactly. All right. Yes, I know. So Blood White, we'll see you in a second. I'm going to get ready here to raid Jay.
Right.
But before I do, let's do our last giveaway.
All right.
This glorious
rolling
mouse
it
pad.
now.
You want this.
Set Monkey 13.
Set Monkey 13. Let's go. Congratulations, my friend. I think I have your content already or your address. If I don't, go ahead and send that to me on Discord, but I'm pretty sure I do. And Jay's already got 38 up, and we're going to raid him with 33 more. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Sunday, 1:30 with our Rune Lords campaign. All of our stuff seems to be running well now. We love all of you. Mad Chatterers are awesome. Blue Box signing out. Thank you, Evelyn.
Thank you.
All right. I'm really curious to see